Hello, hello. It is Wednesday today and time for Q&A around healing and transforming fatigue. All kinds of fatigue. Post-COVID, burnout, chronic fatigue. We can have many diagnoses for fatigue, and to me, what diagnosis you have is not as important as what your experience is. And if on some level you are experiencing fatigue and it's affecting your life in a way that is contributing to not the life that you want, you're so welcome here. Hello, Valentina. I see that you're here. So good to see you. Okay, so today's question is, how do I find balance between exercise and rest? And is pacing the best thing to use? So if you have the diagnosis chronic fatigue or post-COVID, you probably know what pacing is. If you don't, I'm going to explain what that is. It is one of the tools that are used in the healthcare system to support people with these diagnoses. And what you do is you look at what you do during your day, what activities do you have during your day and how they affect you, and how much you have to rest. And you also look at what activities cause backlash. And by backlash, I mean they have consequences that are negative. So for instance, when I had chronic fatigue, if I did something physically that was too much, or I spent too much time with other people, or I spent too long in town doing shopping or something like that, I would have a backlash that meant that I would be completely exhausted for up to a week. More brain fog, more sensitivity towards sounds and light. And this is something that's very common for people who have this diagnosis of chronic fatigue and post-COVID. That you work with pacing to try and find the right balance, try and find the balance between doing things that you want to do and that make you feel good and resting so that you minimize the backlash. Because having that backlash is not fun. Sometimes I used to do things that I knew would bring me backlash, but doing that thing was so important to me that I would do it anyway. But the question today is, how do we find that balance? And how do we find that balance if we're not using pacing? So pacing is a great way to find a balance. And at the same time, it comes from an intellectual reasoning. And if we don't use pacing, we use something that I've talked about before, and that is something that I am passionate about, and that is listening to your body. And why is that important? Well, our body carries all the memories from our entire life. It carries all the experiences. It carries so much wisdom. And it carries all kinds of memories, both from this life, and if you believe in past lives, it carries memories from past lives. And it also carries an ability to connect to spiritual beings, if that's what you believe in. And it doesn't matter if you believe in past life or that there are spiritual beings or not. You can still use your body as a tool to listening to what works for you. And this, sometimes it can be difficult. And if you feel it is challenging to listen to your body, well, I just want to say that it takes practice. And if you're interested in getting better at this, I have a PDF on my website under the freebies that is, I think it's called Work with Learn to be Better at Intuition or something like that. And intuition to me is the same thing as listening to your body. And I'm just pushing away because someone just sent me a note about being right around the corner. Anyway, I got a little sidetracked by that. And so the invitation in listening to your body is to using your body as a guide, using your body as a teacher, as a guide of showing you what works for you and what doesn't. For instance, say you are wanting to do some kind of exercise. And the way you can use your body in knowing, should I do this or not? How much should I do this or not? Is notice the signals that you have in your body when you are thinking about doing this. If your body feels contracted and heavy, then that is probably a no. If it feels light and open and warm and alive, then it's a signal that yes, this is a good thing to do. And so what other signals can we hear in our body? It can be this openness being closed, feeling heavy or feeling light, feeling closed off or open. It can also be the feeling of being pushed back or being pushed forward, feeling warm or cold. And the warm can sometimes be an uncomfortable warm. It can be really hot, like a burning hot, and that might be like the body telling you, no, don't do this. And in my experience, the more you listen to your body, the more you allow your body to guide you through finding this balance between exercise and rest, the less backlash you will have. And another thing, I think it's important also to look at what is important in your life. What do you really want to do with the time that you spend being active? And sometimes this can be a challenge also in finding out what is important to me. So I have another freebie that you can download that is called The Wheel of Life, that is useful in finding out what is important in life. And this is something that you can use as a guide to what activities you want to prioritize in the category of exercise or activity or whatever you want to call it. And something I would like to leave with you also is the question of what would life be like if you had balance? Just sit with that for a moment. What would your life be like if you had balance between activity, between rest, between exercise and rest? There's an invitation here to sit down and do some journaling around this, because this is also about priming our nervous system into thinking about what we desire, into thinking about the possibilities that are actually there in our lives. Okay, loves, I am going to leave you with this. And if you're interested in more support, more tips around this, more practices, you can sign up to my newsletter in the link in my bio. And we're going to End this with 3 deep breaths. Breathing in. And as you breathe out, releasing, letting go. Breathing in. Letting go, breathing out with a sigh. And breathing in. And again, breathing out. Noticing what that feels in your body. Okay, loves, I'm going to leave you with that and have a lovely rest of the day. Bye.